If you like your standards high and your growth even faster, pull up a chair, listen in. This is Dash. My name is Courtney. I'm the hostess with the mostest for the day. We are introducing our guy Marco here, also known as That Guy. And today we're going to be talking about kind of what it means to be a top producer and all the ins and outs, pros and cons, what you have to sacrifice to get here, and all that jazz. So listen in. Marco, we're going to be talking today a little bit about what it means to be a top producer, how you got to where you are, and then kind of your journey. So in your first year, you were one of our top producers. Tell us a little bit about how many transactions you did in your first year and what your first year looked like in terms of day-to-day grinding.
So first year, I did 30 transactions. I closed 29. So
Hell yeah.
I had one that kind of rolled into the year after that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was a whirlwind. So.
And to be clear, you did not come from real estate before.
No, I came from hospitality.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what that first year looked like on a day-to-day basis. Like when you woke up, you were like, how am I going to get this bread? Like how am I going to be a top producer?
Well, the first couple of weeks, I just kind of got acclimated with the company, with the firm, obviously. It was just trying to see how other people operated, how other agents were operating, how they were carrying themselves. Obviously, we had to do shadowing. We had to go through onboarding. So I kind of just focused on that. I really didn't jump straight into wanting to get my leads on or do different things with clients yet because I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I wanted to be as confident as possible because I knew I was really green. I mean, obviously coming out of, the classes, the courses, and, getting your license.
You don't know much.
Yeah, you know a lot, but you don't know a lot.
Yeah.
Experience-wise,
you know the textbook stuff, but that stuff doesn't help you in real life.
Yeah, exactly. And just, usually, coming from hospitality, I worked in that industry for so long, I got to the point where I felt more calm and confident and savvy. And then jumping into a new career, like, right before the age of 40, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, yikes. Scary.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you first started, did you have an idea that you were going to be doing so well in real estate? Like sometimes when you start a new job, you're like, okay, I don't really know if this is going to be for me or not. Like, what did you feel from the beginning where you're like, you know what, I know that I'm going to kick ass at this? Or you're like, I don't really know.
Well, I actually set the bar really low for myself because, I got my license a few years before I actually started.
Okay.
And before then, I couldn't get out of the hotel industry, just, bills and different things, family. So I was like, I tried to stick my toe out there and I was going to do it part-time, but I was like, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So I waited and then we finally decided to go in full-time. I was like, as long as I can make this much,
right?
Then I'll at least save grace and not be like, oh,
it'll be worth it if I can just make a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And my wife's like, oh, you're going to kill it. And I'm like, just calm down.
Yeah, you're like, don't get too crazy because I actually don't know if I am.
Yeah, exactly. So she was going off of, my prior experience and all that, just based off what, looking from the outside in. And I'm just like, let me be humble about it. Yeah. I just don't know. Let me take it one day at a time, which is kind of the approach that I took.
Okay, nice. So in this business, we have tons of rejection. Oh, yeah. We meet literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And I feel like coming from the hospitality business, you had to be very customer service, very customer facing. How did that kind of help you deal with rejection in this business? Because it is very different, but you do run into a lot of rejection. Like, did that how did you not let that get you down?
Well, it's kind of similar to what I did in the hospitality business. I used to tell my associates when I worked there, we have to be a reflection of what we want the guests to actually come in and experience. So if they come in, they don't have a great experience and they leave and it's because of us, then that's
bad
a problem.
Review.
Yeah, exactly. And we were really heavy on reviews. So to me, just having them like me and actually want to work with me was the key thing.
Right.
And obviously being transparent and knowledgeable and getting to other things was also necessary. But I'm like, if they don't like me, then
what are we doing this for?
Yeah, we're not even going to make it past here. And even working in hospitality, the first impression, as soon as you get to the desk, if they're seeing anybody that's not,
sitting on their phones, no smiles.
Yeah, exactly. Not even acknowledging that the actual client's there. It's already a ripple effect at that point.
We've all run into that before.
Yeah, and it's just going to go downhill usually. And you could sometimes, we did a lot of service recovery, obviously, but why even get to that point when you can,
do your job from the beginning?
Exactly.
Okay. So another question I have for you is, when you first started, you left stable, kind of. I don't want to say 9 to 5 because I know with hospitality, it's not necessarily always 9 to 5, but you left security.
Oh, definitely security.
For craziness, roller coaster, no security, no idea what your day-to-day was going to look like. What was like, how was your support system in getting you to where you're at today? Like, how did you make that transition without like losing your mind?
I just kind of told myself like time management was like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know, when I used to manage in hospitality, I had to manage my time well, even like you said, working weird hours, but I had short periods of time to get big things done. And then I also had, you know, more days or more months to get things done. So I'd have to prioritize, basically, is what I'm saying. And
it is key in this business, time management. Yes.
Exactly. And not getting too overwhelmed and knowing like what had to be done today versus what could be done tomorrow or next week or what I was actually working on in the long term. So I kind of broke it down like that. And I still do to this day. I mean, when clients need something and I know it needs to be done today, the sense of urgency, I'm going to have to find a way to stop and prioritize it. But then if I know, you know, I can give them a call back later this evening or circle back. You know, obviously, like you said, time is of the essence with everything.
Yeah, time is of the essence all the time, every day, especially with this business.
Yeah.
So how was, like I said, your support system? Your wife was like, you know what, like, if you need to fall on me. Or, you know, if this doesn't work out, we'll be okay. Like, how is that for you at home transitioning? Because I feel like a lot of agents, the reason why they're scared of, you know, becoming these top producers or taking it from part-time to full-time is not having a support system or leaving some security for no security.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, the support system is everything. I mean, I had to, like I said, I set the bar super low. We had a conversation, and I was like, you know, this is what I have to make.
Yeah.
And it was very low, but it was enough to keep everything afloat until I really got my feet wet and just really started to really learn the business. So, and that's what people have to do. Like, I mean, obviously you can come in and set the expectation super high, but if you don't make it there and then things happen,
then you think that you failed.
And exactly. So we kind of got to a point where we made it super simple. So where I didn't have that stress because we didn't want for me to be out there being thirsty on every deal.
We don't want commission breath.
Yeah, it's so noticeable, and clients know because you start to get a little pushy in ways that it's not, you don't even know it's subconscious at that point. You know what I mean? Versus when you can be calm and cool and allow them to make the decision. You're giving them all the advice, but there's clients that back out at the last minute, and you have to smile and be
You're like, okay,
let's move on to the next. You know? So.
You're like one tear shed, but at the end of the day, like we can't control everything.
No, and a lot of times it's for the best in the long run because you know deep down like that means there's something wrong with this opportunity, and if we pursued it, obviously they're not going to like me later. So I'm like, hey,
something will come back to bite you in the ass.
Exactly, you'll win, and they'll win later, and everybody's happy.
So with this real estate life, you've been in for about 4 years now, full time. What was the thing that you noticed like you sacrificed most in these last 4 years to get where you're at today?
I would just say kind of my time. I'm not gonna say time at home because I'm at home more now, but just sometimes my focus at home. Because sometimes I get so wrapped up in the real estate, even when nobody needs anything from me. I'm just browsing houses,
spiraling,
searching through things, just figuring out how to get ahead of things. Because a lot of times, just sending something out to your clients or delighting them in a certain way ahead of time just lets them know you're thinking, right? And it could be something small because some clients, they'll call you all the time. So it's easy to keep up with them. But then you have other clients where it's, I haven't heard from them in like 2-3 days. What's going on? So yeah, you can sit back and think they're cool, but typically I'll at least send them something, just kind of see what's going on because you don't know. Everybody's different. They're just wired differently. So
for sure. Some people need a lot of hand holding. They need you to check in on them 24/7. And some people are like, dude, back up. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
And then I just had to figure out how I fit in at home too, because it's a new lifestyle. I used to be gone a lot of the part of the day. Now I'm at home.
I didn't even think about that. Like when you're at home more and like you're not used to being, you're like, okay, how does the flow work here?
You could be helpful, or you also could be in the way.
In the way.
Yeah, especially my wife. She works at home, so it's like she's used to having that peace. She has her routine. She knows when to take the dogs out. When I'm there, it's just like oh, we're taking the dogs out. I start throwing things off.
Right. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, don't ruin our little flow we've got going
if
here.
I vent at work, and she's like, all right, that's supposed to be for later because I'm kind of in the zone right now. I got conference calls. I can't listen to that right now. So just funny things like that, knowing kind of when to be more present, not just physically, but like
engaged truly, like actually dialed into what you have going on at home.
Like my kids' sports, that's the hardest thing right now. Yeah. It's spring, right? We all deal with it. But just figuring out, I kind of schedule them in the same way I do like showing.
Yeah, you're like calendar invite.
I know I got practices this day. I know I got games on the weekend. So just kind of knowing how to flow around that. And, my family knows. They know the hospitality business was way worse in different ways as far as my availability. But now, I'm pulled away sometimes, but I also get more time to actually spend time with them and be more present, whether it's at a game or at practice or at home or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I'm that weird dad at practice, I'm gonna be honest, because they're like, he's here all the time. And
they're like, why is he here all the time?
Fit it in,
I didn't see him for the last 3 years, but these last 4 years he's been here every practice.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people in this business have kids and they struggle with trying to figure out, how do I juggle sports, school, these crazy weird school schedules, showing clients, your client wants to be here, there, everywhere, an hour away, driving. It is a lot, especially when you have a lot of people relying on you, a big support system, whether it's kids, families, friends, whatever. I want to ask you, what do you think separates you from a regular Joe Blow agent down the road?
I think the biggest thing for me is always the cliche thing of staying busy, but the way I stay busy is I don't get too caught up on rejection like we were discussing before, because it's not always a permanent thing when people reject you.
It might be temporary.
Yeah, I've had clients, kind of be kind of cold, and then later on, 3 months later, they reach back out, like, yeah, I'm ready to buy the house. Yeah. I'm like, oh,
haven't heard from you, but sure, let's do it.
Yeah, so just kind of, keeping myself busy to the point where if I'm working on one thing and then that's starting to get stagnant, jump onto something else. Just that fresh state of mind.
Yeah.
That way, once again, we're not getting thirsty with clients because we're always working with something else. And I tell my clients all the time, everybody's on a different time frame, right? Yes. I have some clients that are looking to buy something 2 years from now. They don't know it yet, but we'll be looking casually for 2 years and there, we'll finally get there.
Yep.
And I have other ones I meet them that day and they're like, this is the one.
And you're like, what? This never happens.
Kind of that way, and just not getting too, because when you get emotionally stressed on, oh, they're not calling me back enough, or why is business not coming in? And sometimes it does get kind of slow, but you have to have faith and you got to keep your same skills tight to the point where you don't.
Sharpened.
Yeah, it's just, you can't get to what am I doing wrong? You were doing everything right. Things were flowing. Yep. They're going to continue to flow as long as you stay patient and keep doing the right thing. So.
Patience is definitely key. I will say, when you are in your slower seasons, you kind of already touched on this, but how do you not let yourself get into too far of a slump? Because I know I've been in slow seasons and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to quit real estate. I'm going to go work at Starbucks. The sky's falling. How do you stop yourself from getting too far down the rabbit hole?
Just focusing on, like I said, that one deal at a time. And I always notice, as soon as I get a little overwhelmed or something's not coming in, I get that golden phone call.
Yeah.
Because after you do so much good business,
it'll come.
Your name is floating around out there. And
Amen.
Even when you don't know it. And then sometimes it's not just waiting, of course. You got to start poking around a little bit more.
Yeah.
I have certain client or certain leads where I'm like, we hit it off good a day or two. What happened?
Right.
Let me just reach out. But not always poking in a certain way, like, hey, are you looking for a house? But just, how's everything going?
Genuinely caring.
Yeah, we're moving into the spring now. I noticed a couple more things in the market. A lot of times
the things are blossoming.
Yeah, so I've had so many clients, just one little stone unturned, all of a sudden it flourishes into an opportunity. So that's kind of the way I look at it. But it does, you have those times where you're sitting around and two, you also have to understand when things are really good.
Yeah.
You got to manage your money. You got to manage your time versus thinking it's always going to be there.
Yep.
And that's a mistake a lot of agents make. And I've even made it sometimes where I'm like,
I think everyone has, is when you're on a roll and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so well. You're like, I'm going to buy a boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally. It kind of, you do have to save for a rainy day.
Yep.
And I think it's hard for a lot of agents to save for that rainy day because our business is like this all the time, every year, month after month. We have no idea.
tax man coming around at the end of the year. It's like we already know what it is we need to do.
Yeah,
But a
we're
lot of
just like
times it's
avoiding it because we're like, no, I want to have fun.
It's put in
I
that
want to
back
use,
burner.
I want to use all the stuff that I worked so hard to get.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so you were in hospitality, we're in real estate. Do you feel like real estate is like, I know it's a job, but do you feel like it's a job, or do you feel like it's something that you just do that just happens to pay your bills? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love it. I feel like I finally found like my passion in life because I really feel like I'm helping people. And I know a lot of people that look at realtors like, oh, they're sleazy. And I'm like, please come walk with me and take time to see how much I can, you know.
There are some. That's not us.
But at the same time, like I delight, or we, you know, we as a firm, we delight people in ways where they don't even know they're going to be delighted in ways, right? Like I never walked into a real estate transaction and I was like, oh, I just saved 5 or 10 or 15 grand, not knowing, right? And we don't do those things and make extra compensation off of it. We just do it because we want to do what's best for our clients. And we know when we do those things that they'll call us back and they'll refer us to other people. Exactly. Like it's not about what we're going to make right now. It's about that relationship that we build so we can continue to help them. And those clients know exactly who to call, right? They're going to be like, man, he didn't do anything extra. He didn't ask for any more money. He just was always looking out for me. He was always looking out. And my best interest. Exactly. The entire transaction.
I think it's like you said, like we're always making sure we're looking out for our like client's best interest. But when you're doing it from a genuine place, I feel like that's what really sets you apart from that sleazy agent down the road that's probably not doing as well because they don't genuinely care about their clients. Another question I have for you is, what do you think that like you consistently do from day one till now on a day-to-day basis or, you know, a week-to-week basis that you don't think some other agents do, whether they're at our firm or not? Like there's going to be certain things that like I know one agent every morning they wake up for 30 minutes and they like stretch and they do their thing. Like what do you do consistently? Like what is your little like, I don't know the word, but your little secret sauce?
Secret sauce. My main thing is, you know, I like to plan my day out, you know, and I obviously know what is on my schedule, what appointments I have coming up, what, you know, opportunities I could have to leave things open. I think a lot of agents fill their schedule up sometimes unnecessarily, not knowing that that golden nugget could pop up.
Right.
And obviously we have the support to, you know, have other agents go out and show houses and do other things for us, which is awesome because obviously when we are too booked up, we can do that.
It's good to have someone to rely on.
But a lot of times, you know, just leaving certain pockets of my schedule open and also filling other parts because I like to stay busy, but I like to be available too. And
and it's like trying to find like the weird in between.
Yeah, because obviously when you start telling your clients, hey, I can take you all these places, and then they're like, when? And you're like,
next Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Exactly.
When all the houses are gone.
I pride myself of like making my clients feel like I'm always available. I've had clients tell me, I didn't realize you're working with so many people. It seems like you just were like so focused on us.
Because I'm that guy. What do you mean?
And it's just, you know, making sure like little things, right? Yeah. If I think about my clients, I'll text them something if it pops in my mind versus waiting till later. But at the same time, just knowing, you know, the right times.
Yeah.
To do
the right
things.
Times is definitely, I think, important because like you said, there's clients that are just on different wavelengths. Yeah. It's like they need you right here, right now. And you know that if you don't respond in 3 seconds, they hate you and the world's over. And then you also know your clients that are like, okay, if I respond in 20 minutes, like they'll be fine. But I think for you, one of the things that I've noticed that sets you apart is that you, like you said, you are always available somehow with all the things you have going on. And you always make your clients feel special. Like, you know what? Yeah. You're the only client that I'm dealing with right now. You're my priority, even if you have like 17 other things going on in the background.
Yeah, because a lot of clients, they get jaded and they think, oh, they're paying attention to me because, you know, the house price is this much, or I'm too naggy, or I'm too this. And I'm like, you're going to get the same attention regardless if you're dealing with a $20,000 piece of land versus a home that's a few $1 million. Like it's the same process. Obviously, different things are going to happen in that process, but you're going to be valued the same way because, you know, that kind of money is big regardless of what it is, right? Whatever you're purchasing in real estate.
A mortgage is a mortgage.
It's a big
whether
transaction.
It's $1 million or $200,000. It's like,
absolutely.
At the end of the day, you're going to work to pay your bills, and I'm going to be the one that helps you find the place that you feel most happy, most comfortable calling home.
Yeah, absolutely. And just treat it like it's a serious thing, because
Yeah.
it is, and that's what they want to know, and that's what they want to feel when they're around
Yeah.
you. So
that like no matter what, no matter the price point, that you're like you said, they're gonna get the same service.
oh yeah,
They're gonna get you 100%.
those are those clients that call you back a few few
Yeah.
years later. They've doubled up on income, and they're like, "Now I want to buy this house," and you're like, "Whoa!" So because they remember
Exactly.
how you were, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people, I don't want to say sleep on it, but like your lower price points, like they're regular people. They're just buying their first house. They're so excited. And like most of the time, those are going to be the people that are like yelling your name from the mountaintop to all their friends and family because they know what you've done for them. Versus sometimes in your higher price points, it's not necessarily the same like emotional feeling.
Absolutely.
I feel like. And just make sure people know that we're going to be there for them regardless. Okay. So your first year, where do you think that some agents fail in their first year that you obviously didn't because you're on a roll, call you butter? But what do you think some agents kind of like fall into a trap of doing or not doing in that first year that does cause them to not be in this business a long time?
I would say not taking on enough leads.
Okay.
I met a lot of agents when I was coming in that would be really afraid. Like first to get their feet wet is one thing. And then once they got their feet wet, it was more so like, oh, I'm at capacity. I'm talking to 3 or 4 people. And I'm like, are you really at capacity? Like, do you know when you're at capacity? And plus, we work for a firm that allows you to shine when you're at not just capacity, but even on overflow sometimes.
Right.
Granted, you don't want to get too far off because you can start to drop the ball in certain areas.
Right.
And I'm cognizant of that. I've had days where I'm like, I got way too much going on. Yeah. So the way I combat that is I will slow down slightly on taking a few new things if I know I'm really overloaded. But at the same time, there's times where I'm like, oh, I'm overloaded. But then the next day comes and it's crickets.
You're like,
so it's like,
what do I do today?
You're not really overloaded. So it's like, just
overwhelmed in the moment.
Yeah, in the moment, exactly. It might be 1 or 2 things you're dealing with, but the way these transactions roll, they're very busy during certain segments.
Yep.
And then they smooth out.
Right.
I even tell my clients that I'm like, hey, this first few days, it's going to be crazy. I'm going to email you the hell out of you.
Yeah, you're going to be like, I hate you. Please stop calling me and text me, but we're getting the ball rolling.
Yeah. After that, I'm like, your lender is going to annoy the hell out of you. Not me anymore. But hey, So.
And then we'll circle back to it being me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's good advice, though. It's like, I think it's hard for agents to find that sweet spot of like taking leads, getting comfortable working them, getting them to a place that they need to be, and then taking more. It's like the cycle. I feel like it's very hard for people to find like what that capacity looks like. Were you kind of from the beginning saying like, okay, I kind of understand what my capacity is, or did it kind of take you a little bit?
It kind of took me a little bit because I got busy super fast.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I kind of realized that I could do it. Because I was like, hey, we jumped right in.
Yeah. And we're swimming.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Okay. In terms of capacity wise, on average, like how many clients do you think you're working with on a given basis?
The way I look at it, to simplify it for myself, I like to try to close 2 or 3 deals every month.
Okay.
But in order to do that, you're going to be working probably at least 5 to 7 clients every month.
And then you're going to have to get in front of even more people just to get to 5 to 6 clients.
Exactly. So I kind of like break it down based on priority as in what they need and who needs to move the fastest.
Yeah.
Because I have clients that I'll know because I'll go out and they're looking at 5, 6 houses at a time. Like, oh, wow, they're ready. Right?
Yeah. They're like, oh, my lease is up in 30 days. And you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So on other clients, they'll be like, oh, I'm coming down from New York in like a week. But then I know when they do come down, they want to look at 4 or 5 houses.
Right.
So.
They want to be with you from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., stop for potentially a lunch break, and then keep rolling.
Yeah, their time's limited, so you want to make sure you get it done during that time.
So kind of, I want to say towards now, you've been in for 4 years, you've seen 2 different markets. How are you positioning yourself in today's market versus 3 years ago? Because I feel like they're very different. Right now, we're seeing more of a stable market. It's not super crazy for buyers, not super crazy for sellers. Like, how are you positioning yourself in today's market? Or new things that you're saying or doing?
Oh, yeah. That's great you brought that up. I mean, really, it's a lot about educating right now, more so than it was before. I will say when I first got on, the market was a little bit more, it was healthier, especially for, it was rolling to the point where I had leads coming in, people were ready to buy, so I had to kind of
3 seconds, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I had to stay on like to the point where I had to just be ready
Yeah.
and just savvy enough to keep up with all the different demand of just getting people in, negotiating, getting deals closed. Now people are way more hesitant just because, obviously interest rates, are
It's
not
very
as stable.
different.
Yeah, things have cooled off to the point where, it's more of a buyer's market than it is a seller's market now. So a lot of times that's a good thing for buyers, but it also lets them know they have a lot of power to the point where they're like, yeah, like I'm not about to pull the trigger right now because I got 5 more houses to look at. And I'm like, you're right.
That have both been sitting for 30 days.
Yeah. So I just be not just the education side, but just being more transparent. Like I tell clients the truth, even if I know sometimes they don't want to hear it because it's my job to tell them, right? I mean, just sometimes I have to turn down opportunities because they're thinking of certain things. And I'm like, the data is telling me other things, right? Like, of course, I never tell anybody. I can't never come in and put a value on your home.
Right.
Or I also can't come in and tell you where exactly to offer. However, I'm going to give you all the data to help advise you to be there.
Right.
And if you skew all the way to the left or right, and it doesn't happen, then it's not going to be a told you so moment. It's just more so I'm going to bring you back to the data and the experience. Because I tell certain clients, like, based on deals that I've closed and what we're seeing on the market,
XYZ.
Yeah, this is kind of the trend of how things go.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can deviate from it, but if we go too far off the beaten path, then we might not be successful.
Right. And you don't want to be like kind of like dragging, I don't want to say dragging them around, but like you don't want them submitting 7, 8 offers, getting them all rejected. Like that's a waste of their time, an emotional roller coaster for them. So it's like you have to set those expectations from the beginning. Like, hey, this is what I'm seeing right now. And if we actually want to get a house, this is probably what we're going to want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole thing is to get you to take a good shot.
Yes.
The best shot.
The best shot that you can. Okay. Final question for the day. So, at our firm, we have nicknames and all that kind of stuff. You got coined that guy. Tell me where that came from and what makes you, like, what do you think makes you that guy?
Well, coming out of onboarding, I was quiet coming into the firm. So, like I said, I stuck to myself. I was just focused on working. But then, like, as soon as I decided to, like, get activated and go, like, it took off fast. So I went from having, like, no contracts to probably close to 10, coming out at the end of that year. Not closed, but just, accumulated. And, like, I was rolling. And they were like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
basically?
That just came out of nowhere.
So I was getting a lot of, posts on, like, a lot of congratulation posts. And they're like, who is that guy? And then that's kind of, I guess, how the name stuck. So I laughed at it. My wife's like, what a douchey name. But hey, I'm like, now she likes it. She thinks it's funny because it's one of those things that kind of stuck. So.
I love that. So before we wrap up today, thank you so much for joining us today, Marco. If you guys are interested in listening in or, getting more information, don't forget to follow us, like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Leave your questions and everything in the comment section so we can kind of like read those and help you guys down the line. And thanks again, Marco, for coming.
Sure thing.